On this episode, we're going to talk about team of teams and doing the work. Hey everyone, welcome back. Apologies for the delay. Again, we're going to try and do more of these, but we were just talking about this. We thought, hey, you know what, we should do a quarter show on this and kind of share it with other sales folks out there, other entrepreneurs out there. We were talking about this recently here, and there's two things I want to talk about. One is team of teams. We call it that internally here, colloquially here, team of teams. You don't have to call it that, but what we found was during the 2020 pandemic, we teamed up. We really looked at what's the best method to, optimize our performance and productivity and things like that. And what we found was working together. I believe wholeheartedly a team can outperform an individual all day long. And, sales is such an individual sport. It's so interesting because it's kind of like, oh, here's your leads and then here's your tools and like, go get them. But the reality is that, people work better in teams. And so, you have people basically in sales, you have people just like, okay, let me just go and hit my quotas and hit my numbers. And that's fine, and some people do really well there. But when you think about working out, like you're going to work out better and harder with a twin, with a teammate, right? Somebody's going to push you to do a little bit more weight, and they're going to keep you accountable. And if you sleep in, they're going to be like, where were you? And so what we did, we kind of set up a team of teams model where we had myself and Ben and Joe, who's our sales assistant. Joe would handle calendar invites and scheduling and keeping our calendar completely stacked and doing some outreach for us. And we would work together on every single call. We do 50 phone calls per day, every single call we did together. So he'd call me, and then we call that person, and he'd leave a voicemail, or I'd leave a voicemail, or we do the call, and we do everything together. And you could say, well, you could divide and conquer and do more. And funny enough, you can't, not really. You could, but I don't believe for a second, that you can necessarily do more as an individual. We actually doubled our highest ever individual rep number, like sales number for a given year, doing it together. And it's just interesting. But we kind of looked at that and went, okay, well, working together as a team, we would do the 50 calls, and we would do 100 one-to-one emails, and we would do every discovery call. We did a Zoom pitch call. We would do all those together. We would have Joe on the call. We'd take notes and different things like that. I would pitch, Ben would pitch. We kind of go. Everybody had their role. So I might pitch, and I might come in and help with the close, and then Ben would do all the selling in between and all the different stages and organize everything, and then wrapping it up. And so we kind of labeled it our team and teams model, and we thought we could just throw it out there because if your team is struggling, we recently did this with our other company called Content One, and we got the team, our VP sales, to work to put the people together in teams. And lo and behold, the numbers went up. It's like they started calling together, making every call together, making every move together, making every discovery call together. And then the numbers come up. As individuals, you might have zeros. Go ahead.
Yeah, and don't mistake this for the model that's currently popular of the BDR or the SDR, whatever they call them, where you've got one person who will not talk to you, but they're the one emailing you to get the appointment to set up a demo, and then the person on the demo is a different person. Don't mistake of this this isn't that at all.
Yeah.
This is us literally working together. I mean, we like the Navy SEALs around here. We like football around here. We like different things like that.
Yeah, so that like you said, that's a different model. That's everybody having different roles, and that's more sequenced out. This happens, then this happens, this happens. Yeah. What we're talking about is you got 3 people directly working together on every single stage together.
Yeah, because you look at that model, and like, I'm not saying there's zero workability to it. I'm saying here's the fall down that we witnessed just last week, which we already knew about, which is why at Content One, VP Sales there, and he's doing good. But his juniors and they weren't his other salespeople they weren't closing for like a week or a week and a half, and it was like, okay, what's going on? And it was like, well, they're not doing the work, right? And by doing the work, we mean moving deals along properly through the sequence to a close. Okay, why not? because you investigate, you go and look, and you find out, you could look at their phone logs, and you could find 25, 30 calls, you could find 50, 75 emails, you could find all this work, what was happening. They didn't have another person there, so the VP Sales Content 1, we tell him, hey, get on the phone with your guys. He jumps on the phone, they start calling people together, and he said 80% of the people they called picked up the phone and talked to them. Same phone calls from his guys, from his team, right? What's the difference? The difference is it's a team. The difference is that VP Sales, he doesn't have anything in his head that says, well, Frank said no, or he wouldn't answer, or I called too many times. And that's why that model of the BDR or whatever, where these people, and they're just outreach, and they're fail.
Yeah, and so we also built like sort of a compensation structure for the team to work that way. So it's kind of interesting, but we kind of broke it up, and at first the reps were like, oh, I don't know. But it's better, and you're going to make more, a lot more.
They were like, I don't know, until the first week and a half.
Until you're closing deals.
Clearly, everybody was doing better.
You're getting paid. So it's just an interesting thing. But going into what Ben just said, then it goes into like doing the work. And so when you look at, sales is very transparent, right? If the numbers aren't showing up, or the quota's not being hit, or whatever, the harsh truth, the reality, which we always tell the team, is you're just not doing the work. And people say, I am, but maybe you're doing busy work, or you're not doing enough of it. The reality is, if you're doing the work, the numbers show up on the leaderboard. You see it, like deals close. If you're not doing the work, they're just not. So what does doing the work mean? It means making the 50 one-to-one phone calls. It means doing the 50 one-to-one emails. It means sending out a certain number of proposals or contracts, or however you work, per day and per week, however that number is. Like, you should know these numbers. Like, what is that range to be in? It means like potentially going back and connecting on LinkedIn, or studying the exact the proper way to handle objections and pitches, and the follow-up, the follow-through, the follow-back, doing all of the work to work through the sales cycle, even through like discovery, proposal review, selling, handling, pushing a cycle from point A to point B, all the way through until done. And what you find is, like, if proposals aren't going out, or if deals are not at asking, you start going back. Why are they not asking? Well, I haven't sent a proposal. Why haven't you sent a proposal? Because we haven't done discovery. Why haven't you done discovery? Because I didn't do the 50 phone calls, or the 250 phone calls, or the 1,000 one-to-one emails, or the whatever it is that you need to do to get there. And you look at the whole thing and you realize, okay, the work's not being done. Certainly not the work at the level that it needs to be done in order to arrive where we need to arrive. So the cool thing about it is that you can out effort anything in sales. Like, you can outwork anything, but you got to do the work. And if you aren't getting the result, you are not doing the work.
And part of what he said there was really key. Like, part of doing the work is also noticing, as a salesperson, if you're not getting closes. Part of doing the work is going to the training officer, or going to your senior, and going, hey, I need to two-way communicate here until I feel better and I'm back on the horse and I'm ready to go. Because you go, a person, they close a little less, suddenly aren't closing. They're doing the same actions. They're getting up and they're at their desk at 8 a.m. and they leave at 5 p.m. Same call, same this. It's same, but it's not same, because a lot of it's head game. And part of doing the work is going, oh shoot, it's been 2 days and I haven't closed a deal. Hey, Ben, help me out, sort me out. Let's go. Yeah. Let's work through it. Right? That's part of doing the work, is making sure that this is cleared up too.
And hours is not the work, right? Like, you showed up at 8, went left at 5. That's hours is not the work, right? That's just the time you have, right? So
it's just hours.
Yeah, it's just hours. So you got to make sure you do the work, and it could be like, even just like, what sales books are you reading right now, or whatever it is. It could be sales or books that are in that area. Like, are you studying? Are you training? Right? Are you going back through the material? Do you have a pattern? Are you working on a pattern? Are you constantly learning to get better? Are you training?
Was inspired? Was reading? Was like high on life? Yeah. Closed a bunch of deals. Got lazy or whatever. Stopped reading. Stopped getting inspired. Stopped watching sales videos on YouTube.
Yeah, whatever it is. The two things for sure that are going to completely change the game on the sales side of things is the team of teams thing. Yeah. Which is interesting to kind of figure out at first, but it is the way. And then doing the work, a team will always outperform an individual, always. So if you can figure that out and you get a compensation structure to put together, you even test it out. And even if you forget about the compensation for a second, you go, okay, so and so and so and so. You're going to work together, and you're going to have a sales admin to like do all that, admin work, like proposals out and like calendar scheduling and like follow up and sending out emails and different things like that. So this team can just work together and work on, stack their calendar and do the sort of trench work and the deal work. Get that in. It will perform. Absolutely. And then doing the work. That's the other thing. You have to do the work at the right levels, which means you have to define what the work means. So when you look at your day and you look at your week, you have to frame out what does the work actually mean. Like you should have all of those metrics or all of those numbers or targets or whatever you want to say, but what does a good week look like? What does a good day look like? And then we know we have a perimeter of like, what does the work look like? Doing the work. So that's all I got.
Great.
Yeah, hope you enjoy it. We'll work on doing some more here and post them on YouTube. And if you like it, hit like, of course. And we'd love to see your comments and feedback below, okay?